We call it the Ultra Fit. And what that means is shoes shaped like feet with room for your toes. Kind of lets your toes, we use the word splay. Um, all that means is it's putting your foot back into its natural range of motion and kind of letting the shoe get out of the way. We combine the Ultra Fit, the foot shaped toe box, with zero to low drop. Golden and Brian were watching people as they were fitting them for shoes in the store. They were watching them run on a treadmill, and then they would take them outside and they'd have them run barefoot in the grass outside their store, Runner's Corner in Utah. And what they were noticing is when people were putting on these shoes that at the time had up to a 12 millimeter offset between the heel and the toe. So your foot's kind of like sitting like this in the shoe. It was changing the way people naturally wanted to run. So their whole theory was, hey, well, why don't we make a shoe that A, lets your foot sit in its normal position and doesn't squeeze the toes together, and it's perfectly balanced and kind of gets out of the way of any biomechanical alterations that other shoes might be creating. Hey, I'm Colby, and I'm a renegade.
Yes,
there
he
we go.
is. That's perfect. Hey friends, what if the shoes on your feet weren't helping you run, but were quietly holding you back? Today, I sit down with someone who spent his life proving that's exactly what most of us have been wearing. Colby Gould, ultra runner, student of the sport, and a guy who now stewards the soul of ultra running. We're going to go deep on his own raw, beautiful relationship with running and the quiet revolution that started when two friends asked, what if a running shoe respected the human foot? This conversation will make you look at every shoe in your closet differently, and maybe, just maybe, run better than you ever have. Colby's running journey is just ramping up. He's towed the line at rugged 50Ks, and he's eyeing an iconic race in 2026. As Ultra Sports marketing manager and elite team manager, he's lived the philosophy he preaches, running thousands of miles in zero-drop, foot-shaped shoes, while guiding our rosters of crushers like Tara Dower towards podiums, FKTs, and personal breakthroughs. Lace up, settle in, and enjoy. The Renegade is proud to be sponsored by Thrive Protein. Power your runs and fuel your endurance with Thrive Protein, the premier Canadian-made supplement brand crafted for endurance athletes. This family-owned brand uses a science-based approach to develop high-quality electrolytes, a carbon electrolyte powder, creatine, vegan protein powders, whey protein, and super greens. And they are constantly innovating. Recently brought to market EnduraFuel, hydration and fuel all in one. Each serving offers 30 grams of carbs in a 2-to-1 ratio of glucose to fructose, 400 milligrams of sodium, 150 milligrams of potassium, 25 milligrams of calcium, and magnesium, replenishing all the elements that you're sweating out during your efforts. And it gives your body the energy it needs to perform at its peak. Plus, the lemonade flavor tastes amazing. Thrive's clean products fuels your body with natural ingredients and no artificial fillers. Designed to boost recovery, enhance endurance, and keep you strong on the trails or the roads. Thrive is perfect for any athlete chasing any distance. Visit thriveprotein.ca and use the code RENEGADE for 20% off your order. Thrive Protein. Fuel your relentless pursuit of adventure. What's happening?
Hey, Todd, how you doing?
I'm doing okay, man. Good to see you virtually. Good to chat with you for sure.
Likewise. You're all kitted out. You got all the gear.
I got my gear. I got my Torn 8 shirt. I got the nice hat. I got everything.
You're locked and loaded. I love it.
You know me. I'm going to be locked and loaded for sure. So how's life treating you? I know Kyle told me that you're a Pats fan. So you must be heartbroken here.
Tough weekend, but you can't win them all, right? You know, it's a young team. We'll be back. Got to fix the O-line, maybe. But it's a good season. It was a fun ride. And I personally, I'm more of a Celtics guy myself.
Okay.
We're on to basketball season, you know?
That's right. You're on the basketball season. My Pistons finally are looking like they're going to turn the corner. They got a good core, giving Boston a good run here.
Yep, they're looking good. They're looking good. We'll see if Mr. Tatum will come back and give us a little boost heading into the playoffs. We'll see. He worked out with the Maine Celtics yesterday, I think. So he's making progress with that Achilles recovery.
You know, it's usually that doldrum of February, right? When the Super Bowl ends in Detroit. You know, we're just across the river in Windsor. And usually I'm a Lions fan, so that explains everything. I look at the Super Bowl this year and I'm like, how did we not get to the Super Bowl? Are you kidding me? All we needed was like one piece, maybe two, and we could have had a shot, but that's classic Lions to screw that up. But we got the Tigers, got Verlander back, so I am really happy here in Detroit land.
There we go. You know, I am a big fan of Dan Campbell. I aspire to channel the level of energy that guy does. Talking about biting off kneecaps and who knows what else. So
he'd be a good spokesperson for Altra. You know, we got to get him some Ultras. I think Coach Campbell would like that. A little bit of grit, a little bit of biting kneecaps.
That'd be good. That'd be good.
That's yes, good, sir. Man. That's good. Welcome to the podcast. We have Colby Gould from Altra Running, but he's also an ultra runner. So welcome, Colby. We're excited to talk to you tonight for sure.
Pleasure to be here. Pleasure to be here.
You know, folks, I've met Colby probably for the last 2 years at the JFK. Every time I show up there, him and the team at the package pickup got a great Ultra booth. They always talk me into buying some great Ultra running shoes. This year I bought the Mont Blanc Speeds. They're dynamite. And yeah, we can talk a little bit about that. But Colby, maybe introduce yourself to the audience. Like, who is Colby Gould? And like, what's your connection with running?
That's a loaded question. I'm Colby Gould. I'm the sports marketing manager over at Altra. So I handle our events, one of which is the JFK 50, as well as our elite athlete team. I've been in this role for about 2 years, been with Altra for the last 5 years. Before that, I was a big old run and shoe nerd working in some shops in the Northeast called Marathon Sports. And I do run quite a bit now. I've been at Altra long enough where I was a lifelong soccer player, got brainwashed being around runners all the time, and now I try and spend my weekends at least running around in the mountains if I can. So yeah, it's been a fun journey both in running and at Altra, and really exciting time for the brand as well, and a fun seat to watch it from.
For sure. When you think about that marketing seat, you know, you're interfacing with the elites, you're helping to bring on the elites. And it sounds like, well, if you're a soccer player, you're way ahead of most runners, because most runners never have that base built. So you're probably a pretty good runner, I'm guessing. Do you remember your first run? Like, walk us through that. Like, do you remember your first run, or maybe when you kind of fell in love with running? Maybe that'd be a better question.
I'll take the second part, because the big shift for me was all the way through my soccer career. Running was a means to an end, or it was a punishment, or just I need to do this, or otherwise I'm going to be in rough shape come preseason when we're reporting back on campus and we've got a fitness test coming up. But it was really post college. I graduated in 2020 into the pandemic, which was a very interesting time. Was working at a running shop in New Hampshire once stores opened back up in the summer. And running was the respite from feeling like the world was ending a little bit. And there are some trails near my house. I'm from New Hampshire originally, that I always used to run in, and that became my kind of daily ritual. So it's one of those runs, running through the Phillips Exeter Academy woods, or like the woods near their campus. There's some nice trails in there, and that's what really started to pull me in. But my parents are lifelong runners. My partner is also a big runner. She's probably a better runner than me. So it's been I've now surrounded myself with enough positive running influences that it's such a big part of my life. It's hard to believe.
Well, from the soccer field to your first runs in 2020, trying to come to terms and like as we all were with the pandemic and finding connection with nature and whatnot. What was your transition from the daily run to when you decided, you know what, I'm going to give a race a shot? Like,
Yeah.
help us to understand that decision.
Yes. So at the time, I was working at a shop in Portsmouth, New Hampshire called Runner's Alley. They're now part of kind of the Marathon Sports Network, but they had a specific race company they worked with called 603 Endurance. It's run by a guy named Tom Hooper, and he puts on some fantastic events in New Hampshire. And I think for a long time, I think New England has had an underrated trail scene. It's produced some very formidable trail runners. Katie Scheid, she's from Maine, worked in AMC huts in the White Mountains. And so, anyways, 603 Races puts on a race called the Kismet Cliff Run.
Okay.
And there's two distances. The one I signed up for was called the Beast of the East, and it's a trail half marathon that has about 3,000 or 4,000 feet of climbing in the first 4 or 5 miles, and you kind of like go up. I forget all the mountains. It's like Moat Mountain and Cathedral Ledge, I think, are the two main ones. But I was working at Runner's Alley. We kind of had this group of friends who would go run every weekend and a little bit during the week, and everyone was kind of like, "Oh, you're doing the Beast of the East, right?" So then I basically got peer pressured into it, and my girlfriend Adrienne and I both signed up, and it was a blast. It's right near Echo Lake State Park in New Hampshire. Gorgeous views. It humbled me very quickly. All the vert, I wasn't quite didn't have my pace quite calibrated yet. I might have been a little overconfident. So I like ran out of gas on the climb, caught my breath by the top, and was able to kind of catch back up to Adrian, who had passed me about halfway up the climb. And she ended up beating me by like 10 seconds or whatever. But that was my first like trail race. And it was such a cool experience. It like opened up this whole new realm of possibilities, and I really enjoy it. It's awesome.
Well, and you know what? I got to give you kudos. Hats off for a beast of a trail race, your first one. You
Yeah.
know, if you can't, that speaks to the ultra running culture for sure, and the trail running culture. So then, would you say that most of your time has been spent on the trails versus the roads,
Yeah.
and that's how you came into the running?
Whenever possible. So after I worked at Runner's Alley, I became the local FSR tech rep for Altra for New England, which opened up this whole range of possibilities for exploring the territory. So I got to run some really cool places with a ton of really cool shops. A few that come to mind are like Ridgefield Running down in Connecticut. They have this whole network of trails, and we would do this seasonal trail kickoff with their training group every spring. So I'd go down there in like April, and those trails were beautiful out in kind of upstate-ish New York. There's a town called New Paltz that has this beautiful preserve with tons of carriage roads. I would love to run in there. And then Burlington, Vermont was another one. I would always try and stretch that out into like a 4-day trip to cover like 8 stores in town and
Yeah.
try and make it seem like I was being productive. But yeah, I would definitely say I have an affinity for the trails. I grew up, my family hiked all the time. We camped and hiked a ton. And so trails just kind of felt like a natural extension of that. Like you're moving a little quicker, but you're getting some of the same meditative time in nature that I always enjoyed about hiking. So especially while I was the FSR, that was trail whenever possible. And then about 3 years ago, I moved out to Colorado, and I'm working out of our corporate headquarters near Denver. And it's like a trail playground out here. I live about 2 miles from North and South Table in Golden, Colorado. And having those networks so close to us has been amazing. So yeah, it's been a fun journey, and it's cool that trail has kind of been there along most of the journey.
That is fantastic. Let's go back to this beast of the East for a second here.
Yeah,
Do you remember the type of running shoes that you had for the beast of the East? Were you
I
just a
do.
rookie at the time, or were you like a full fledged and you were all geared up?
I was freshly minted as the Ultra New England FSR, and I had my favorite of my initial batch of Ultra shoes. It was the Olympus 4.
Okay,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
so, some would say one of the high watermarks in that line of shoe, although the new Olympus definitely stacks up very favorably. But I vividly remember wearing that shoe, and it worked great. There's a ton of like granite faces and steep climbs on that course, and the Olympus was fantastic for
That's fantastic. I was thinking about that. As you start running, I can go back to almost all my races and I remember what kind of shoes was I wearing at the time. So you're a younger guy and you got right into the Ultra brand.
Yeah.
So what drew you to a Ultra? Was it the brand and the shoe? Was it the shoe and the brand? Like help us understand, you
Yeah.
know, as a young guy looking to grow and start a career, what drove you towards Ultra?
Love that question. Couple different things. First of all, yes, I was familiar with the brand. I was friends with Mike Birch. I don't know if you've met him, but
Yep.
he's also been with the company a long time. And he was my Ultra rep back when I was working
Okay.
at Marathon Sports. So I had known Mike. He had kind of gotten me up to speed on all the shoes. I had enjoyed the Torin when he would like bring it in and test it out. But I was still fully in like soccer mode. So I was in college. I was like, oh, that's cool to like train in. But then Mike moved out to Denver and he did the events job for a while for Ultra. And kind of once he left, he was like, hey, like you should apply for the Ultra role. And the other thing I love about the brand is it's got roots in run specialty. It was started by a couple of guys working out of the back of a running store. As a young guy working at a running shop, that was easy to relate to and captured the imagination a little bit. I also really liked that the onus of the brand was easy to connect to that experience. It was originally like Golden and Brian were just trying to help some of the customers that came into the shop. It wasn't this like esoteric, we're matching a chicken claw to our like shoe mold, or not throwing shade at anyone else, but it was like, no, we're trying to make a shoe that fits a problem that we don't have a solution for in the store right now. So I enjoyed that. And then I've always enjoyed the role of being an underdog and being a brand that punches above its weight. And um, it was really appealing for me to feel like you could join the team, and because it was a small but mighty team, like you could make a difference and like export, like take on as much as you could, and expand your role and get to see a lot of different things. So there was a lot I liked about Ultra, and it also helped that they were hiring during COVID, which really helped because there weren't too many fully remote field service jobs being posted in early and mid 2020. So that certainly helped as well. But I feel very lucky that I was able to get on board the Ultra train back then. I actually have. I'll share. We had Ultra in Marathon Sports for a long time. I have a picture of me in 2015 or 2016. I can maybe text it to you after the pod. There you go.
Yeah, I'll put it in the show notes. We can show
We've
the
we've got some
history
gems in
of.
here. We've got. I don't know if you can see this. We've
Oh
got
yeah, yeah.
the Torin 2, I believe at the time. We've got the One and Instinct, and then I believe on top that is the original Paradigm.
Paradigm. I remember that. That's right.
Yeah, and as you can see, aesthetically and technologically, we've come a long way since then. So it's been really cool to see just how far the brand has come in that time. I mean those shoes are from a decade ago at this point, which is crazy.
It doesn't seem like that long ago because I
No.
think it was probably around 2017 I was introduced to the brand. I think I might have come across it on a Trail Runner Nation podcast, and then some of the print ads that you were doing with the X-ray of the foot and all that kind of
Yep.
stuff. And so yeah, I think I started on my Altra journey because the proposition. So for the listeners, the Altra proposition is let your foot be a foot. Like, don't force your foot into a foot coffin that's narrow, that gets your big toe not being a big toe. We had Dr. Mark Cucuzella on a couple times, and
Oh,
he's
nice.
helped us understand like the foot health and the aspect of having a fully functional foot. And when I was reading this as an engineer background, I'm like, this makes a lot of sense. Somebody went to a lot of work to design a foot for a human, and it must work naturally. And that's what I always loved the value proposition or the proposition that Ultra brought. So maybe for the new listeners that are dialing in here, help them understand what sets Ultra shoes apart from the norm.
Yeah. Oh, you teed me up perfectly. I'm going to tie my tech rep cape back on
There we
and
go. We're going to put you on the
get right
spot.
back in spiel. So yeah, these days we call it the Ultra Fit. And what that means is shoes shaped like feet with room for your toes. Kind of lets your toes, we use the word splay. All that means is it's putting your foot back into its natural range of motion and kind of letting the shoe get out of the way.
Hmm.
We also So we combine the Ultra Fit, the foot shaped toe box, with zero to low drop. So for a long time, it was just zero drop. In recent years, it's been really exciting. We've added some low drop options back into the line, kind of opened the aperture a bit to making our stuff more accessible, getting people who are curious, uh, letting them experience the benefits of the brand without making it feel overly technical or uh, unapproachable, for lack of a better word. Um, and the basic idea with the offset is Golden and Brian were watching people as they were fitting them for shoes in the store. They were watching them run on a treadmill, and then they would take them outside and they'd have them run barefoot in the grass outside their store, Runner's Corner in Utah. And what they were noticing is when people were putting on these shoes that at the time had up to a 12 millimeter offset between the heel and the toe. So your foot's kind of like sitting like this in the shoe. It was changing the way people naturally wanted to run. So their whole theory was, hey, well, why don't we make a shoe that A, lets your foot sit in its normal position and doesn't squeeze the toes together, and it's perfectly balanced and kind of gets out of the way of any biomechanical alterations that other shoes might be creating. Uh, we might be onto something here. And especially, I kind of alluded to this earlier, but they really had people in mind who either were dealing with chronic injuries like bunions, neuromas, hammer toes, had other kind of posterior alignment uh, issues like sensitive knees, hips, lower back, stuff like that. Um, but what they ultimately discovered was that a lot of runners really enjoyed it, and then it had benefits for everyone. So obviously over the last 15 years it's grown and expanded and evolved, but it's really cool that every single one of our shoes still incorporates those concepts: room for your toes and putting your foot in a more natural alignment.
It was eye opening, and to me, it was life changing because I started running late in life. I was about 38, 39 when I started running. Yeah, I laughed because when you said the 12 millimeter drop, I think I got fitted for Brooks Ghosts, and they were 12 millimeter drop,
Yep.
and they were tight like a slipper. And I thought, oh, it felt so good. They're tight. Growing up as a hockey player, I always liked having tight
Yeah.
hockey skates because I thought it made me skate faster. It didn't. Just one of those things that you kind of associate with that. And then I ran myself right into problems. Like, so as a person who never ran a step that much before 38 or 39, and then I started running right away, too much, too fast, all that fun stuff. It took me about a year and a half to battle out and fix all my foot problems. And the only reason they were fixed were two reasons: Dr. Mark, Ultra shoes, and zero drop in everyday life. So I wore my Ultras for all the running, the hiking, the walking that I did. And then I bought some, at the time they were Lems dress shoes and some hiking boots for work and whatnot. And I remember Dr. Mark said something along the lines of, hey, it's probably going to take you about 6 to 8 months before you feel better. And
Mm.
sure enough, about 8 months later, I woke up. I had plantar fasciitis in both both feet. And I remember waking up one morning, I'm like, it's gone. And that was 2019. And I've been running ever since in the zero drop. And the knock that people will put against the zero drop is that um, it's hard on your calves. And maybe if you are a type A runner, you've been running for 30 years, 20 years in high drop shoes, and you decide to go run barefoot or go run with a zero drop shoe, you're going to get into trouble. But for people, everyday people looking to get into running who have no base, you can actually get into a lower drop shoe. And I love that you got the 4mm drop, because that's overcomes that one barrier that people are out there. And you see that trend. I don't know if you're probably doing lots of peer comparison and whatnot, but it's like a carousel out there, or like a roller coaster. A lot of brands are coming to a mid or a lower drop. Is that something you're seeing too?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's been really interesting to see the industry kind of like come towards the philosophical anchor point of Altra of, just for example, like a Hoka Clifton or a Hoka Bondi is like a 4 or 5mm drop. Although I believe the new Clifton is higher drop than that. Saucony kind of sits in that 6 to 8mm range. Even Brooks, which used to be 12 across the board, now has some 10mm drop mixed in there. And yeah, it's interesting. The drop thing is funny because it does get memed all the time. Your boy Scott Jurek's out here talking about snipped Achilles, and
Yes.
all it really is a different workout for your foot. Like, that's how I'd always describe it to people at demos. It's like, hey, this might work some of your muscles a little differently, but if you treat it like a tool and build it up like you would any other exercise at the gym, you're going to ultimately strengthen your entire running musculature and have hopefully a better, less injury prone experience. Like you wouldn't go to the gym, and if you had never worked out your chest before, you wouldn't just do a million flies and be surprised when your chest is sore the next day.
It's so true.
I find that conversation so interesting, and it has been very cool to see the industry start to kind of bend towards the Altra point of view. Whether I don't know. I just think it's interesting.
Well, there's a momentum out there. Like when you go to run club and you hang out with your running buds, there is a momentum out there that marketing works, and you're in marketing. So
Yeah.
marketing can work. But then you also go down to like the simple philosophy and then your experiences with it too. And one thing I always loved about the Altra running shoe lineup, it was the torsional flexibility. Like some of the shoes, they're built up and they're strong, but you got like the Escalante Racers and the Escalante Force, and they can rotate a little bit. And what I found is after I strengthened my feet by wearing Ultras and wearing zero drop shoes and some sandals all summer, that I liked the foot actually being able to rotate a little bit. And if I ever put like a more rigid shoe on, I found that I could do a run with it, but if I did a couple in a row, something would, lock up or something would start to act up. And I always loved about the flexibility. When you have any strong feet, let those feet flex a little bit too.
Yeah, it's really nice. I feel like at this point, the line has gotten to the point where we've got a tool for every kind of scenario. And I'm in the same boat as you. I'm wearing my Escalantes almost every day. I love the Solstice as well. But even some of the higher stack stuff, it looks like you maybe grabbed your Mont Blanc Speeds there. Like it's still flexible, even though it's got a rock plate and about 30mm of stack height. And you can take that thing on some technical trails and it'll flex, but it's still going to protect your foot.
Yeah, actually, like for folks watching, you can kind of see that it does flex. And that's not me like applying much pressure. Whereas maybe if you have a more conventional, like the trail shoes, they were really rigid because they thought, take to the trails and have a rigid foot. Someone's got to give. It's going to be your ankle or your knee. It's not going to be the shoe.
Yeah.
Runners, your gear is holding you back. If you're struggling with chafing, useless pockets, and materials that feel too technical and just don't keep up with your training, let me introduce you to Path Projects, offering a complete line of gear and apparel built by runners, for runners, and today's modern endurance athletes. that want to perform, train hard, and look damn good doing it. Say goodbye to chafing with Path's independent suspension design. They've separated the baseliner from the short, virtually eliminating all the rubbing and movement that traditional running shorts have. A simple design feature that makes all the difference. Less movement plus performance fabrics equals no burn, no chafing, no hot shower screams. My all-time Path favorite, their best-selling Graves PX running short, built with Toray Prime Flex, has a great feel while being extremely durable and has an unbelievable amount of storage. I've been able to carry gels, my iPhone, my car keys, and even hang a clip-on water bottle off the waist. And they're built to last. Path's Tahoe CL baseliners offer an all-season performance. The cool light mesh is for the extremists. A bird's eye mesh fabric that is ultra light, super wicking, and insanely breathable. Comfort means everything. And they offer personalized performance. With Path baseliners, you have the choice of 2 fabrics in 4 lengths, 3, 5, 8-inch, and full length, which allows you to dial in a baseliner based on the current weather condition and your personal preference. And with the Path's Graves PX shorts, you have the choice of 2 fits, classic and relax, and 2 lengths, which give you the flexibility to match your short to the effort. With the right gear from Path, you can focus on your effort and getting after it. Check them out, pathprojects.com, and you can use the code TRP10 for 10% off your order for a limited time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been cool. Like, I think the other, common misconception that Altra dealt with for a long time is that we were like a minimalist brand, just because of the zero drop immediately drew these connotations of, oh, that also means zero stack height, or like super low to the ground all the time. And ultimately, I think where we ended up was the benefits of wearing something minimal or like a barefoot shoe, but with modern running shoe technology and a fully functional full stack trainer under your foot. So like your foot is in a position it would be as if it were barefoot, but it's protected if you're running on concrete or rocks with modern foam, a modern outsole, and great traction technology. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Well, you know what? I'm showing the Mount Blanc speeds because when I went to the JFK 50, that was my 3rd time running it. The first 2 times.
Congrats.
The first time I wore my Lone Peak, not Lone Peaks, my Superior 4.5s. They were really old, and I wore them and had a great time on the trail. And then when I hit the towpath, I switched out into my Escalantes and finished that off. Second year, I went with Lone Peak 6s. And then I switched out to the Escalantes on the trail. This year, I said, you know what? Look how nice these shoes were at the expo. So I did something that you're not supposed to do. I bought them and I wore them right out of the box. Okay, no issue whatsoever because they fit really well. So like the foot shape on this, I have a Fred Flintstone style foot, so I got a big foot. Got a lot of room in here, so my foot was very free. What I noticed right away on the Appalachian Trail, it's pretty rigid, but the Vibram, they were like, it was a beast. It was just digging, and I was sticking on the rocks more so than I wasn't prepared for that because, I'm used to kind of like sliding on rocks because I'm maybe wearing just my older trail shoes. So I found that an adjustment. I'm like, I actually felt like Spider-Man out there. And great, like, and so light. Like, folks, I think on the site, it's like 10 ounces, but you had a shoe that offers this much midsole, this much look and feel, and a substantial shoe with protection and Vibram at 10 ounces. It was super light, and I really loved it. So it got me through the Appalachian Trail, the 26 miles, no problem. Now, the only thing I wish it helped me was not trip, because I tripped a bunch of times. That's just me.
I heard the leaves were deadly out there this year. And they also, they had gotten some rain out there too. So conditions were rather treacherous.
Total deadly. So getting probably about kilometer 20, I hear a guy running up behind me. He's like, "Get moving out there." And it was Adam Pop.
Okay.
I had him on the podcast. He's an amazing runner. So we ran together. And as I started talking to him, so Adam is an amputee athlete and he's a trail beast. He's all over the trail. No worries. I'm tripping everywhere. So he's like, "Do you want me to help you?" I'm like, "Adam, please, if you want to carry me, more than happy to." So I wiped it a few times and Adam helped me up and got me through that trail. It's just that I'm not used to like trail running. I'm more of a road runner down here, but I really like these, the Mount Block speeds. So maybe like help folks understand the trail shoe lineup. Like what when someone comes to Ultra looking for a trail shoe, what offerings can you offer them and how should they kind of view them?
Yeah. Oh, loaded question. I love this. I historically, I would say the entry point to the ultra line for the vast amount of people is the Lone Peak. It's probably the most versatile shoe in our lineup. We see people doing everything in it from hiking the Appalachian Trail to taking their dog for a walk around the corner. It's comfy, it's light, it's flexible. It has a little bit of a rock plate built into it, so you can take it on some technical stuff. The Lone Peak's kind of like our do everything shoe. In recent years, I would also say the Olympus has picked up steam, as people have been starting to look for maybe some higher stack type feels underfoot. The Olympus has the same last as the Lone Peak, just more stack height. That's one of my personal favorites. And then if you want something more technical, the Olympus 275 has a matrix upper, which has Kevlar fibers woven into it. It's very abrasion resistant. And it's getting a very fun update this summer coming in July, where it gets a new midsole package as well. So that's kind of I would say the big stuff on the original kind of original Ultra underfoot experience. In recent years, we've also introduced the Experience Wild, which I would put almost as it might, dare I say, be even more inviting into the Ultra lineup than the Lone Peak. It's got a 4mm drop, so we're introducing some of that kind of low offset, making it a very friendly option for someone coming from another brand, perhaps. It's still got our signature foot shape fit, so you get room for your toes. It's got some light lugs on there, so you can take it almost as a road to trail option if you want, but it's technical enough for our elite athletes. Love the shoe. I'm trying to think. Tara Dower used it a bunch on her Appalachian Trail attempt. JP Giblin wore it for Javelina and Black Canyon last year. Like it gets some love. And the new version of the Wild, we've put a Vibram outsole on it. So you've got that best in class traction and grip. It got a new midsole foam. So the Wild 3 and 3 Plus, maybe my pick.
Now you said the Wild one that Tara wore, Tara Dower. She was on episode a year ago. Now nice. She kept talking about the Candy Mamas. Is this the Candy Mama brand, or is it labeled the Candy Mama, or is that something you're thinking about?
Well, I think it's distinct possibility.
Because we got the Speed Goat, Carl, our buddy. Yeah. He's got that Speed Goat he loves. Candy Mama is definitely a good one.
I think there might be a story to tell there, and
excellent.
Maybe it's in future seasons. Awesome. Here I have this is the regular Wild, so no Vibram, but this has been my go-to the last couple of weeks since it's come out. Experience Wild. It's got a new midsole foam. It's got our signature Max Track outsole. Got a little bit of a rocker to it. And then this shoe, we also have the new Timp. The Timp has gotten a big upgrade. So the Timp kind of sits in between the Lone Peak and the Olympus over on the zero drop side of things for us. This is the regular Timp, and then I had to grab the shoe just because it's maybe my favorite aesthetic shoe that we've come out with. As you can see, I'm an olive green kind of guy, and these are really this is the Gore-Tex version. So we've got the little Gore-Tex badge here, Vibram outsole. These are sharp. These are sharp. But yeah, I'm lucky because historically I am sample size, so I get some sneak peeks, some samples here and there, and get to give my 2 cents when the product team asks me.
That's the joy of working for a running shoe company. I'm sure of, just like if you worked for a car company, you got to drive the cars, you got to take the shoes out, but the fun thing about shoes is you can replace them and get some new ones. And I think I forget who I was talking to about this, but my first pair of Ultras, I think I got them hanging up here. You can kind of see them back there. They're the Boston.
Yeah.
Boston 19. So 2019s.
Those were
Honestly,
good.
I wore them for like 2 years. I think I put 3,000 kilometers on them. And I was talking to somebody and they're like, well, that's not good. Like, you shouldn't have put 3,000 kilometers on a shoe. But like, as I
I'm,
said, when I transitioned, when I got a really strong foot, I started to enjoy a really hard, flexible shoe. It's almost like
mm,
I wanted to run on that. So it had a little bit of cushion, low stack height. But once I got worn down and worn in, I kind of like that feeling. So that's why I kind of wore them for such a long time. And now they're retired for all the fun I had with them. Now, you mentioned about new runners thinking about making a transition from their built up, maybe high drop running shoe that's probably not working for them. If it's working for you, keep going with what you got. But if you are getting hurt and you're looking for something, hey, what do you got to lose? You're all experiment of one. So I got these. Kyle sent these in here.
oh yeah,
The brand new. This is the Experience Flow 3, correct?
yes it is.
Look at
It's
that.
looking sharp.
I always like the aesthetics and the bones and it just looks really cool. But what I found with this right away, super light, super light.
Yeah.
Um, and it feels like the foam, like it's a really cool foam. So like I was doing some stats on this. Is this a new midsole foam called P35?
Yes.
Okay.
It is a new midsole foam. We've brought on we've really kind of beefed up our product team in the last year or so. We've got some really exciting things coming, but one of the biggest projects they've been working on is updating our midsole foam packages. So P35 is kind of the first step in this larger foam journey. So P35 first appeared in the Flow. It's now trickled over into our trail products as well. So it is on the Wild 3 as well. And then there will be some new compounds debuting later this year that we're really excited to show off. Trickling over into the speed line potentially.
The speed line.
Yes.
I like it. I like the speed line, even though I'm not fast at all. And most runners of the Renegade probably not too fast, but we like to pretend we're fast.
Me too.
Yeah,
it's okay.
Folks, you know what? Check it out. The Experience Flow 3. You got the 4mm drop. This one, I said the Mont Blanc speed, or the Mont Blanc speed was light. This one's crazy light. It's even lighter.
They're wizards over there, and they're magicians, I should say. They just keep outdoing themselves. It's massively impressive.
And that's one thing like I noticed too. Like when you can save, what is it? If you save an ounce running, it's like, I don't know, a lot of pounds, like maybe 10 or 20,000 pounds over the course of a half marathon or a marathon. I think I heard. I have to double check my math.
And then, you extrapolate through a marathon, and then you can extrapolate that even further through the course of a 100-miler or something, and with some serious weight savings.
It's something that probably for folks listening, that if you are thinking of a different type of shoe, definitely you might have overlooked how heavy your shoes are, because you might just been used to running in a built-up shoe. You can save 3 or 4 ounces, and you put them on there, you're going to feel like a ballerina. You're going to be dancing out there super fast on the trails of the road. I don't know. Well, okay. So now in your role in marketing and events and handling with elites, like talk to us about what, maybe like think about this. You get to interface with lots of elites out there at events and with, the support that Altra provides. What are like maybe 1 or 2 elites that have really come onto the scene that's really excited for you, like that you really enjoy watching them grow in their running career?
Well, I think the first one that comes to mind, who, she's been around a while, but I would say last year was a banner year for her, is Jade.
Jade, for sure.
Yeah. We get Ultra Running magazine at the office, and Jade kind of cleaned up in the year-end rankings last year. She was, in the top 10 ultra runners of the year as voted by the magazine. But then Jade won 3 of the top 15 largest ultra marathons in North America last year, with wins at JFK, Squamish 50, and Chuckanut, which was pretty cool. And then Jade was also one of, I think 7 athletes to record 4 or more wins in a calendar year last year.
Unbelievable.
And the range at which she did it was so impressive as well. Like she's doing everything from a 50K in insanely muddy, wet, cold conditions at Chuckanut to towing a line at Broken Arrow and doing a VK and a 23K, going up against a really stacked field at Gorge Waterfalls, because that was a U.S. Trail and Mountain Running Championship qualifier last year. She duked it out there, and then threw down at JFK again at a really stacked field with Shea Aquilano and her name's escaping me. But there were 3 of them at the front of the race, and Jade kind of like pulled away at the end. But massively impressive season for her. I'm so interested and excited to support her this year. She's lining up at Black Canyon this weekend.
Okay.
In the 100K. So another stacked field. And it's been really fun working with her, and she just continues to amaze, which has been fun. So yeah, Jade is one. And I mean, it was a fun ride with Hans last year. Obviously Hans is, on another team now, but we were the brand that took a bet on him, and seeing that pay off last year was a very fun ride.
How do you spot the talent? What's the Ultra secret? Or what's the Colby secret? Are you just out there looking at Ultra Running Magazine and look at this trend?
That's a great question. I think the secret is there's information everywhere. I don't know. I think Ultra is unique as well because we have a team that is built of people who are great athletes, but also community builders and people who are doing things to give back to the running community and make a difference wherever they are, in the running world. I mean, I'm lucky because I came into the team with much of the current roster already in place. Someone like Tara or someone like Kyle Curtin, who great runners in their own right, but then like Kyle works at his local running shop. He's raising money for Big City Mountaineers when he did his Colorado Trail FKT a couple years ago. Tara did the same for Girls on the Run with her big Appalachian Trail FKT in 2024, and raised funds again last year when she did the Long Trail FKT. So I think my only secret is that I'm never or I try not to be closed off to information coming from anywhere. Sometimes it's literally a sales rep or one of our FSRs DMing me, being like, "Hey, met this guy at my local run. Like, check him out. Set up a meeting and talk with him." And this may come back. Well, at times it's a little chaotic because then you've got all of these like requests flying in. But we're also at such an interesting time in trail and ultra running specifically, whereas there's this massive explosion of talent. Like there are these quantum leaps forward in nutrition and shoe technology and cooling and all of these factors to where there's no way every brand can be in touch with every prospect at all times. So like you could find someone who could pop or who could be that next person on the big stage. It is a lot of fun to search and meet people, build a network. It's such a small world too that it's helpful to even just continue to build out friends of Ultra, even if they're not maybe officially on the team.
Absolutely. Now, when you deal with the elites and these professional runners, and you juxtapose that, compare that against the everyday runner that you see out there that you get to interface with, what similarities do they have and what differences do they have from your observation?
That's a good question. Similarities would be they're human beings just like the rest of us, especially, I would say more so in the trail ultra world. Like they're still eating Nerds gummy clusters and like getting the same enjoyment out of it a lot of the time at least. And they're moving a bit faster, but I think this sport is really cool because we're all drawn to it for a lot of the same reasons. The difference, and I'll use myself as the the layman runner here is just in preparation and discipline. Like, maybe I'm snoozing my alarm for my long run Saturday morning, and Tara's been out there for 20 miles getting her workout in and shredding up the trails. And like for me, I like run it. I squeeze in running where I can. Obviously, like I'm in a unique position where running is a big part of my life, but those guys build everything else around their running. That's their singular goal, and they've got big dreams that they want to accomplish. Um, but I would say they're much more similar. They're very similar to us in a lot of ways.
We've had a blessing over the last 3 seasons, Colby, to talk with lots of elite athletes, and it's something that we noticed right away is how humbling and how down to earth they are. It's been amazing. It's been amazing, and for folks dialing in, listen to this episode. All we want to do, all the Renegade is trying to do, is make running a little bit easier for you, and the key for that is that you're healthy and you have the ability to get out there and run. And I can only speak from myself as an experimental one. Everything good in my running started when I started working on foot strength and then finding the Altra running shoe. It's made my feet feel great. And I've run some great races. And you know what? I mix in shoes, other brands every now and then, but not for a lot of miles. And I always come back to the Altra brand. So if you're out there struggling and you're battling, a knee injury, a back injury, ankle injuries, and you can't figure it out, it's probably your form. Best way to work on your form, let your foot be a foot. And you know what? Maybe discover the Altra brand, give it a shot. And I know Altra does a great job of going around in your towns with local running stores and, putting on a shoe display. Kyle came to Southern Ontario a couple years back, and he had some fun because his shoes got stolen. That was the story for poor Kyle. So we had no Altra shoes at the Altra event other than the ones we were wearing, but we had fun with Kyle on that.
Oh, I love Kyle.
It was great. It was great. So maybe I know we're getting close here to time, Colby, and what are a couple things that you hope a listener to this podcast takes away to help them be a stronger, happier athlete?
I like that. I think, all right, 3 things. First of all, one thing that really helped me, the big realization I came to in my post collegiate athletics career, is that running is supposed to be fun. Fun is the goal, and having a enjoyable experience is the goal. And whatever that looks like for you is fantastic. No numbers involved. Don't even wear a watch if that doesn't help you. Just enjoy it. That's what it's for. That's what it should be, in my opinion. I think that's how you get the most out of your running. 2, I would say running can also be a tool. Like it's part of this like larger picture of whatever wellness looks like for you. Maybe it's, hey, I'm going to go run a 5K and then meet up with my friends and go see a concert, or I'll do my little run and I'll hop in the sauna. Or it's like, hey, I'm going to backpack, or I'm going to fast pack and run like 40 miles this weekend. If you're at a different spot on the spectrum, I would say.
Absolutely.
The running spectrum. Third, I would say running it should be a very inclusive space. Like everyone is welcome running. Everyone should be able to enjoy it, and being intentional about making that known to everyone around you is great as well. I think that's probably my my FSR tech rep mindset ingrained into me, but the more the merrier, and the more we can make it easier for everyone to join in, the better. So those are my 3.
Those are 3 amazing keys to get people out there running, have fun. You know what? It's a tool, a great tool for a life of wellness and health. And definitely, like, you can meet a lot of people. And, I think every time we went to a trade show or a show, we were walking and chat with the folks there. everyone's so open and happy, and we've met so many friends, virtual friends, real life friends. And what do you got? What do you got on 2026? What's on the race plan for Colby? What's the
All right,
big
this
bucket race or the big thing you're going for?
big time accountability statement here.
You got to put it out there. I'm going to hold you accountable.
We're going for our first 50 miler this year.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's looking like we're going to have a good crew together for the Run Rabbit Run 50 miler up in Steamboat Springs, Colorado. Fantastic, historic ultra marathon, massive prize purse at the 100 miler, and I am I'm going to throw my name in the hat for the 50, which is terrifying.
So you're going for the money. That's what I hear. You're going for the you're
no
go
no money no money.
Oh, no money. Well, maybe we could do a fundraiser here. Like if Colby can place top 3, maybe there's a Renegade podcast prize package or something.
Yeah. The internal ultra prize purse will be a case of beer or something similar. Probably.
There you go. So Run Rabbit 50. And how is your training going? Like, what does your training look like? I'm like you. I fit in running where we can, but what are the kind of maybe a couple milestones? There's a couple like key tenets of your training to help you like line up at the Run Rabbit, but also finish it. What are you thinking?
As much vert as possible.
Vert, okay.
As much time having fun as possible, and we're off to a good start. We've had a couple solid rust buster weeks. Got involved in a little bit of burrito league shenanigans here in Golden.
Yes,
and we're gonna take every opportunity we can when I'm working a million races this summer to get in the mountains while I'm there, and not just sit at the ultra booth the whole time.
Oh, that's awesome. We're going to be cheering for you. We'll got you. I'll note you down on my calendar, the Run Rabbit, the 50 miler. We'll cheer you on. And Colby, we just thank you for coming on the episode, sharing the ultra story, your running story, a day in the life of an FSR, a day in the life of marketing and events, dealing with pros who sound like they're all amazing to deal with, which Wonderful is great. People. We just can't thank you enough. So amazing. Thank you for becoming a renegade.
Thank you so much, Todd. This was a pleasure.
We thank you for listening to the Renegade Podcast. Each episode, we dare to practice the lost art of conversation to better understand this thing we call life and the human connection that we have with running and endurance sport. If you enjoy the Renegade Podcast, could we ask for a favor? Head on over to our YouTube and click subscribe, and like our podcast on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Your engagement helps keep the Renegade Podcast growing and going. If you have a show idea, a comment, we'd love to hear from you. Send us an email, renegadepodcast@gmail.com. That's RUNEGADE podcast@gmail.com. We have a great list of guests coming up that we're looking forward to sharing another conversation with you. Head on over to our link tree, check out our sponsors, our friends of the podcast. We have great discount codes that, thanks to them, they're offering you, the Renegade listeners, to save some money on the best running gear, apparel, fuel, and nutrition. We thank you for listening. And remember, in a world of runners, be a renegade.